The council chamber stretched across 3 kilometers of polished crystal, floating in the void between stars. 7 species had ruled the galaxy from this place for 50,000 years. They had never lost a war. They had never needed to. Ambassador David Chen stood in the center of the chamber, his human form small against the towering representatives surrounding him. The Valorians rose 12 feet tall, their crystalline bodies reflecting the light of distant stars. The Kresh floated in containment fields, their gas-formed bodies swirling with colors that showed their emotions. The other 5 species watched from their platforms, ancient and proud. Chen had been speaking for an hour. His voice was tired. "I am begging you to reconsider," he said. "My people have tried to fit into your civilization. We have followed your laws. We have paid our dues. But you must understand our history before you make this decision." High Speaker Valorian, eldest of the Valorian Empire, made a sound like breaking glass. It was laughter. "Your history, Ambassador. We have reviewed your history. 200 years among the stars, and already you have been involved in 47 disputes, 23 trade conflicts, 16 territorial disagreements. Your species represents 3% of the Council's population, but creates 23% of our problems." Chen felt his hands shake. He forced them still. "Those disputes were not our fault. The Kresh claimed our colony worlds were in their traditional space. The Benthari tried to enslave our mining crews. We defended ourselves. We followed council law every time." "You followed the letter of the law," another voice said. This came from Speaker Thexnor, the military commander of the council fleet. His species, the Threen, looked like silver insects walking upright. "But you do not understand the spirit of civilization. You are aggressive, emotional. Your people carry weapons even in peacetime. You tell stories that glorify violence. Your entertainment shows war and conflict. We also show peace," Chen said. "We show cooperation. We show love and family and building things together." After showing explosions and death, Thexnor clicked. "Your species has a sickness, Ambassador. You are too young for the responsibility of council membership. Perhaps in another 1,000 years you will be ready. But now you need correction." Chen felt ice in his stomach. "Correction?" High Speaker Valorian's body flashed with light patterns. Around the chamber, 5 other species showed their agreement. Only the Kresh remained neutral, their gas forms swirling uncertainly. "The council has voted," Valorian said. "Your outer colonies will be subject to military action. Proxima Centauri, Tau Ceti, and Barnard Star. The strikes will be limited and precise. Your populations will be given 6 hours to evacuate. Then our fleets will destroy your military installations and industrial capacity." "You are declaring war on us?" Chen could not believe the words coming from his mouth. "No, Ambassador. We are teaching you. When a child misbehaves, the parent must provide discipline. This is discipline. When you accept council authority properly, when you learn your place, the action will stop. Your core worlds will not be touched. Your species will survive. But you must learn." Chen looked around the chamber. 50,000 years of peace, they claimed. 50,000 years of no major wars. Because every species had learned to follow the rules. Every species had been taught their place, except humans. "How long do we have?" Chen asked quietly. "The fleet departs in 3 days. It will reach Proxima in 14 days. As I said, your people will have 6 hours to evacuate before strikes begin." Chen nodded slowly. His mind was racing, but his face stayed calm. 60 years of diplomatic training helped him now. "May I speak with my government?" "Of course. We are not monsters, Ambassador. We want peace. We simply require that you understand your position in the Galactic Order." Chen bowed, the way Council protocol demanded. He walked from the chamber, his footsteps echoing on crystal floors. Behind him, he heard the Council members talking among themselves. Their voices were satisfied, pleased. They had made a difficult decision, but the right one. They would correct the human problem. Then peace would continue for another 50,000 years. Chen reached his quarters and sealed the door. His hands were shaking again. He opened a quantum link to Earth, maximum encryption, routed through 17 different relays. "This is Ambassador Chen. Priority Alpha. The Council has authorized military action against our outer colonies. Proxima, Tau Ceti, and Barnard Star. They have 17 days. The face that appeared on his screen was Admiral Sarah Okonkwo, head of Human Military Command. Her expression did not change. "How many ships?" They did not say. "But Thexnor is commanding. He commands the full Council fleet. At least 200 capital ships, maybe more." Against our 12 defenders at Proxima? Yes. Okonkwo was quiet for a moment. Did you try to warn them? I tried everything. They think we are children. They think this is a lesson. They cannot imagine we would fight back against 200 ships, because no species in 50,000 years has been crazy enough to fight when the odds are impossible. Yes. Okonkwo smiled, but there was no happiness in it. Then they are about to learn something about humans. Every species in this galaxy evolved under their system. They learned civilization from the Council. They have no memory of total war. Admiral, we cannot win against the entire Council fleet. No, Okonkwo agreed. We cannot win. But winning is not the only option, Ambassador. You taught me that. You showed me the history files. Earth's history. Human history, Chen remembered. The wars of Earth, the world wars, the nuclear standoffs, the times when humans had looked at certain death and charged forward anyway. They think this is discipline, Chen said. They think we will accept our lesson and submit. Then they do not understand what happens when you corner a human, Okonkwo said. They do not understand what we do when someone threatens our children, our homes, our existence. What are you going to do? Whatever I have to, Ambassador. You focus on gathering intelligence. I need to know everything about the Council fleet. Numbers, weapons, tactics, supply lines, everything. And our colonies? I am ordering immediate evacuation of all non-essential personnel. But we will not abandon Proxima. We will not show weakness. We will show them exactly what humans are capable of. Chen felt something cold settle in his chest. He had studied Earth's history. He knew what humans were capable of when threatened. Admiral, if we fight, they will not stop at the outer colonies. This will become a real war. I know. Millions will die. Maybe billions, I know. We might lose everything. Okonkwo's face was hard as stone. Ambassador, they have already decided to attack us. They have already decided we are not worth treating as equals. If we submit now, we will never be more than pets. Never be more than children to be disciplined whenever we displease them. I will not accept that future for humanity. Chen closed his eyes. He thought about his children on Earth, his grandchildren, the future they would inherit. I will get you the intelligence, he said. Thank you, Ambassador. And David? I'm sorry. You tried to build peace. You tried so hard, we both did. Yes, but the Council wanted something else. They wanted submission, and humans do not submit. Not anymore. Not ever again. The connection ended. Chen sat in the darkness of his quarters looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Council fleet was preparing. They were loading weapons and checking systems and planning their strikes. They were confident, certain of victory. They had no idea what was coming. Chen remembered something his grandfather had told him years ago, a quote from Old Earth from the ancient wars. You cannot invade the mainland United States. There would be a rifle behind every blade of grass. The Council thought they were teaching humans a lesson. They thought this was discipline. A minor military action to correct a problem species. They were wrong. This was not going to be a lesson. This was going to be a war, and humans had 5,000 years of experience with war. Real war, total war. The kind of war where you did not stop until your enemy could never threaten you again. Chen began typing his report. Intelligence on the Council fleet. Everything he knew. Everything he could find. Because Admiral Okonkwo was right about one thing. If the Council wanted a fight, humans would give them one they would never forget. The Council fleet arrived at Proxima Centauri exactly on schedule. 212 capital ships, each one a masterpiece of technology refined over millennia. They moved in perfect formation through the void, their weapons charged, their shields glowing with contained energy. Admiral Thexnor stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dawn. Through the viewing screens, he could see the human colony growing larger. 3 orbital stations, 12 defense ships, population of 50,000 across the stations and the surface colony below. Broadcast the warning, he ordered. The message went out in all human languages. 6 hours to evacuate. Shuttles would not be fired upon. Anyone remaining after the deadline would be considered hostile. This was mercy. This was civilization. The humans responded immediately, but they did not evacuate. Instead, every human ship launched, all 12 defenders, moving at maximum acceleration toward the Council fleet. Behind them, the orbital stations activated every weapon they had. Point defense guns, missile batteries, Even mining lasers designed for cutting rock now aimed at warships. Thexnor felt something he had not experienced in 300 years of military service. Confusion. They are attacking?
All of them?
Yes, Admiral. All 12 ships on intercept course. Weapons hot. They are not even attempting defensive maneuvers. With 12 ships against 200? Yes, Admiral. Thexnor watched the human ships approach. This was insanity. This was suicide. No rational species would make this choice. Signal the fleet. Weapons free. Destroy them. The battle lasted 3 hours. The humans fought like nothing Thexnor had ever seen. They did not retreat when damaged. They did not surrender when overwhelmed. They rammed council ships when their weapons failed. They detonated their own reactors when boarded. They screamed defiance over open channels even as their ships broke apart around them. When it ended, all 12 human ships were debris. But 7 council ships had been destroyed. 19 more were damaged badly enough to need major repairs. Thexnor stared at the wreckage. 7 capital ships against 12 defenders. The exchange rate should have been 50-1 in the Council's favor. Instead, it was less than 2-1. Status of the orbital stations? Still firing, Admiral. They refused to surrender. Destroy them. The stations died hard. They fired until their power cores melted. The last one, as it broke apart, managed to damage another Council ship with a suicide explosion. When silence finally came to Proxima Centauri, 50,000 humans were dead. But the Council had lost 8 capital ships and had 20 damaged. And the humans had never stopped fighting. Not once. Not even at the very end. Thexnor recorded his message to Earth's government. This is Admiral Thexnor of the Council Fleet. Proxima Centauri has been pacified. Your resistance was noted. It was also pointless. You have 72 hours to acknowledge Council authority and accept our terms. If you do not, we will proceed to Tau Ceti. Choose wisely. The message was sent. Thexnor expected a reply within hours. Acceptance, surrender, pleas for mercy. Instead, Earth went silent, completely silent. Every human diplomatic channel shut down. Every trade route stopped. Every communication relay closed. The humans simply vanished from galactic civilization, as if someone had flipped a switch. What are they doing? Thexnor demanded. His intelligence officer, a creche named Willow Wind, swirled with uncertain colors. Unknown, Admiral. We are picking up strange activity across all human space. Massive energy signatures, industrial activity, fleet movements. But all their communications are quantum encrypted. We cannot break the codes. They should be negotiating. They should be accepting terms. Yes, Admiral, they should be. 7 days later, the first human attack came not against the fleet, against civilian ships. A human raider appeared from nowhere near a Valorian trade convoy. It destroyed 3 freighters before vanishing back into the void. Then another attack. And another. Small ships, fast ships, hitting targets across Council space and disappearing before defense forces could respond. How many losses? Thexnor asked. 47 civilian vessels in the past week, Admiral. Cargo ships, passenger liners, scientific vessels. The humans are targeting anything without military escort. This is madness. They must know we will retaliate. I believe that is what they want, Admiral. Thexnor turned to stare at Willow Wind. Explain. Human psychology is different from ours. We fight wars to win. They fight wars to hurt. They do not care about victory. They care about making us feel pain. Before Thexnor could respond, alarm screamed across the bridge. Contact. Multiple human ships dropping out of slip space. They are launching weapons. The Battle of Tau Ceti was nothing like Proxima. The humans had sent 30 ships this time, against the Council's 150 stationed there. But these ships fought differently. They carried swarm missiles. Thousands of small warheads, each one guided by primitive but effective artificial intelligence. The missiles split and dodged and came from every angle. Council point defense systems designed to track dozens of targets were overwhelmed by thousands. The humans also used something new. Drone ships, no crew. Just weapons and engines and a simple computer brain programmed with one command. Destroy the enemy. And when all else failed, the humans rammed ship after ship damaged beyond repair, turned toward the nearest Council vessel and accelerated to maximum speed. No calls for help. No surrender. Just silent, determined acceleration and then collision. Captain Sarah Okonkwo commanded the destroyer Defiant. Her ship was burning. Life support was failing. Half her crew was dead. Her weapons were empty. She aimed her ship at the Council battleship Radiant Peace, a vessel 10 times her mass, a ship that carried 3,000 crew members. Her executive officer, Commander Park, looked at her with understanding. "Captain, evacuate anyone who can reach the pods," Okonkwo said. "Everyone else, strap in. We are going to hurt them." Park nodded. "It has been an honor, Captain." "The honor was mine, Commander." Okonkwo engaged the emergency override. She locked out all controls except helm and propulsion. She shoved the engines to 120%, beyond safe limits, beyond survivable limits. The Radiant Peace tried to maneuver. It was too slow, too large. Defiant struck the battleship's portside section at 900 kilometers per second. The smaller ship penetrated deep into the larger vessel before both ships' reactors detonated. The explosion killed everyone on both ships instantly. It also damaged 3 nearby Council vessels badly enough that they had to withdraw from the battle. Before she died, Okonkwo recorded a message. It was transmitted on all frequencies. Council Command heard it. Earth heard it. Every ship in the system heard it. "This is Captain Sarah Okonkwo of the human destroyer Defiant. If anyone in the Council is listening, I want you to understand something. You came to our homes. You killed our people. You thought this would be easy. You thought we would surrender. You do not understand humans. We have fought wars for thousands of years. We have burned our own cities rather than let enemies take them. We have charged into certain death because some things are worth dying for. You wanted to see what humans do when you corner us. You wanted to teach us a lesson. So watch carefully. Learn this lesson well. We will never surrender. We will never stop. We will fight until every one of us is dead, or until you cannot threaten us anymore. This is what humans are. This is what you created when you attacked us. Remember Captain Sarah Okonkwo. Remember the Defiant. And know that 10,000 more humans are ready to do exactly what we just did. The Battle of Tau Ceti ended with the humans losing 28 of their 30 ships. But the Council lost 42 vessels. And the humans had proven something terrifying. They had proven they would sacrifice everything to hurt their enemy. Thexnor sat in his quarters, watching the recordings over and over. The ramming attacks. The suicide runs. The final messages from human captains who knew they were about to die. "They are insane," he whispered. Willow Wind's gas forms swirled beside him. "No, Admiral. They are desperate. And desperate humans are the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. What do? We face a choice. We can withdraw now, accept that the lesson has failed and negotiate peace. Or we can continue. We can destroy their remaining colonies. We can bombard their worlds until they have nothing left. And if we do that..." Willowwind's color shifted to dark red. In Kresh emotional language it meant deep fear. "Then I think we will learn what total war means. Real total war. The kind where both sides lose everything." Thexnor looked at the casualty reports. 50 Council ships destroyed, 60 more damaged, against 42 human ships. The exchange rate was barely more than 1-to-1, and the humans still had their main fleet intact. Hundreds of ships somewhere in their home systems preparing for the next battle. For the first time in 50,000 years of peace, Admiral Thexnor wondered if the Council had made a terrible mistake. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was chaos. 7 species shouting at each other in languages that translation systems struggled to keep up with. High Speaker Valorian tried to maintain order, but even his authority was crumbling. They destroyed a civilian transport near Benthar. The Benthari representative screamed. 300 souls! Children, elders, no military value whatsoever. And we destroyed 50,000 humans at Proxima, the Kresh delegate Willow Wind said quietly. Did we ask if there were children there? The chamber fell silent for a moment. Admiral Thexnor stepped forward. His silver body was scarred from the battles. He had lost 2 ships under his direct command. Thousands of crew members he had trained personally. The humans have released a document, he said. They are calling it the Doctrine of Ashes. I recommend you all read it. High Speaker Valorian's crystalline body flashed with irritation. We do not need to read their propaganda. It is not propaganda. It is a declaration of how they will fight this war. Thexnor activated the holographic display. The document appeared written in simple words that every species could understand. To the Galactic Council, it began. You have chosen war, we accept, but you must understand what human war means. We will not fight for territory. We will not fight for resources. We will fight for survival. And in fighting for survival, we will destroy everything we cannot hold. Every human colony that falls will be burned to ash. Every installation will be rigged to explode. Every ship will fight until it cannot fight anymore, and then it will ram. We will leave you nothing. If we are to die, we will make our death so costly that you will wish you had never heard the name human. This is not a threat. This is a promise. We are sorry it has come to this. We wanted peace. You wanted war. Now you will learn what war truly means. The document was signed by every human government: United Earth Council, the Martian Commonwealth, the Lunar Federation, the Belt Colonies, every human authority speaking with one voice. They cannot be serious, the Threen representative said. They would destroy their own worlds rather than let us occupy them? That is exactly what they are saying. Willow Wind confirmed. And I believe them. Humans have done this before in their own history. Many times, then they are mad, perhaps. But madness can be effective. Before anyone could respond, alarms sounded throughout the station. Red emergency lights flashed. What is happening? Valorian demanded. The answer came in the form of a visual feed. From New Britannia, a human colony world in Council-occupied space. The humans had evacuated the cities but left behind a resistance force. Council troops had been fighting them for weeks, losing soldiers to ambushes and traps. Now the feed showed something new. The human resistance was retreating to bunkers. Council forces were celebrating, thinking victory was near. Then every fusion reactor on the planet overloaded simultaneously. The explosion was visible from orbit. It killed 200,000 Council troops instantly. The shockwave destroyed 3 Council ships in low orbit. The radiation made an entire continent uninhabitable for the next 1,000 years. But the humans in the bunkers survived. And as Council forces reeled from the blast, the humans emerged and attacked again. The transmission that came with the feed was from a human resistance leader. Her face was covered in ash and blood. This is Commander Lisa Chen of New Britannia Resistance. To the Council forces, we warned you. We told you we would burn everything. You did not believe us. Now you see, we destroyed our own colony rather than let you take it intact. The reactors were on timers. We had this planned from the beginning. This is what the Doctrine of Ashes means. You can kill us, but you will gain nothing. Only corpses and radiation. The council chamber erupted in arguments again, but this time there was something new in the voices, something that had not been there before. Fear. 3 days later, humanity struck at the heart of the Valorian Empire. The homeworld of Valoria was the oldest inhabited planet in council space. It had been continuously occupied for 60,000 years. It was a symbol, a place of pilgrimage, the center of galactic civilization. It was also, the humans had calculated, completely unprepared for attack. No one had attacked a homeworld in 50 millennia. The idea was unthinkable. Homeworlds were protected by custom and law and the basic principles of civilized warfare. But humans did not care about civilized warfare anymore. The weapon came from deep space. A mass driver projectile accelerating for months, a chunk of iron and nickel mined from an asteroid, 100,000 tons of metal moving at 90% of light speed. By the time Valorian defense systems detected it, there were 12 seconds until impact. Not enough time to evacuate, not enough time to intercept, barely enough time to understand what was about to happen. The projectile hit Valoria's western continent. The impact released energy equivalent to 1 billion megatons of explosives. It punched through the crust into the mantle. The shockwave circled the planet 3 times. The debris thrown into the atmosphere blocked the sun for months. 800 million Valorians died in the first hour. Another 200 million would die from the climate collapse that followed. One continent, 1/5 of the Valorian homeworld, simply ceased to exist. In its place was a crater 200 kilometers wide and 50 kilometers deep, glowing with molten rock. The message from Ambassador Chen came an hour later. His face was haggard. He looked like he had aged 10 years in the past month, but his voice was steady. To the Galactic Council, what happened today was not revenge. It was not even warfare. It was a demonstration. You attacked our colonies. You killed our people. You thought you were safe because your homeworlds were far from the fighting. You were wrong. The weapon that struck Valoria today was launched 3 months ago, before your fleet even reached Proxima. We have 40 more like it. already in transit to other Council homeworlds. Each one carries a timer. Each one will detonate on schedule, unless you meet our terms. Valorian's holographic image flickered with light patterns that meant pure rage. You dare threaten us with extinction? You started this, Chen said simply. You came to our worlds with warships. You killed our people to teach us a lesson. Now we are teaching you one. We are teaching you what happens when you threaten humanity with extinction. We will not die quietly. We will not accept your terms. We will drag you down into the ashes with us if that is what it takes. You cannot win this war, Thexnor said, his voice tired. No, Chen agreed. We probably cannot. Your fleets outnumber ours 10 to 1. You have more ships, more resources, more worlds. But we do not need to win. We only need to make victory so costly that you lose anyway. How many of your worlds are you willing to sacrifice? How many billions of your people? Because we have already accepted that we might lose everything. We made that choice when you attacked Proxima. Now you must make yours. The council session after Chen's message lasted 18 hours. 3 species called for immediate peace negotiations. 2 wanted to escalate to full extermination. The Valorians were split, with half their government demanding revenge and the other half demanding survival. Finally, High Speaker Valorian made a decision. We will not negotiate. We cannot show weakness. We will increase military production. We will mobilize every ship. We will show the humans that the Council cannot be threatened. And the weapons in transit to our homeworlds? Willowwind asked. We will find them and destroy them. In 3 months, across half the galaxy, with weapons traveling at relativistic speeds, Valorian's body flashed with stubborn determination. We will try. But even as he spoke, everyone in the chamber knew the truth. They could not stop all the weapons. Some would get through. And when they did, more billions would die. The war was escalating beyond anyone's control. General Marcus Way stood in the command center on Mars, watching the tactical displays. He was the architect of the Doctrine of Ashes, the man who had convinced human leadership to adopt total war. His aide, Colonel Park, stood beside him. We have intercepted Council communications, Park said. 3 species want peace. The others want to fight on. And the weapons? On schedule. 40 relativistic kill vehicles spread across Council space. They will start hitting targets in 90 days. Way nodded slowly. He had designed those weapons, calculated the trajectories, chosen the targets. Each one was a homeworld or major colony. Each impact would kill millions or billions. Do you ever wonder if we are the monsters now? Park asked quietly. Way was silent for a long moment. Every day. But I remember Proxima. I remember watching those 50,000 people die while the Council called it a lesson. I remember Captain Okonkwo ramming her ship because it was the only way to hurt them. And I know that if we do not fight like monsters, they will destroy us like children. So we burn the galaxy. If that is what it takes. Yes. Way looked at the tactical display. Red dots for Council fleets, blue dots for human forces, and green dots moving slowly through deep space for the relativistic weapons that could not be stopped. They wanted to teach us a lesson, Way said. They wanted to show us our place. Instead, we are teaching them something humanity learned thousands of years ago. Never start a war you are not willing to finish. Never threaten someone with nothing left to lose. And never ever assume that your enemy will fight the way you expect them to. The Council was breaking apart. The Threen were the first to sue for separate peace. Their representative, a senior diplomat named Silverwing, approached Ambassador Chen in secret. The meeting took place on a neutral station, deep in unclaimed space. We never wanted this war, Silverwing said, his silver body dimmed with exhaustion. We voted for the military action because we trusted Valorian judgment. We were wrong. Chen looked at the insect-like alien. Part of him wanted to accept immediately. Every species that left the Council made humanity's job easier. But another part of him, the part that had watched Proxima burn, could not forget. Your ships were at Proxima, Chen said. Your weapons killed our people. Yes, I cannot change that. I can only offer to stop killing more. Not good enough. The Council must dissolve completely. Every species must accept that this war was wrong. There must be trials, reparations, guarantees that it will never happen again. Silverwing's antennae drooped. The other species will never accept such terms. Then more will die. Ambassador, please. My people are not your enemy. The Valorians pushed for this war. They convinced us it was necessary. And you went along with it. You fired your weapons. You followed your orders. That makes you responsible. Chen stood up to leave. Silverwing's voice stopped him. What do you want from us? What would make you accept peace? Chen turned back. His face was hard. I want what the Council tried to take from us. I want acknowledgement that we are equals. I want every species to admit that attacking us was wrong. I want the Council dissolved and replaced with something that cannot threaten anyone ever again. And I want everyone who gave the order to attack Proxima to stand trial for war crimes. The Valorians will never agree. Then the war continues. Chen left. Behind him, Silverwing sat in silence, knowing his species would have to make a choice. Continue fighting alongside the Valorians, or abandon the Council and face humanity's wrath alone. The next relativistic weapon hit 6 days later. The target was Archeon Station, the military headquarters for the entire Council fleet. 5 million personnel worked on that station. It was the central nervous system of Council military operations. The humans had calculated the strike perfectly. The weapon came from an angle where the station's defenses were weakest. It struck the central command section, punching through shields and armor like they were paper. The explosion broke the station into 7 pieces. 4 million people died. The survivors evacuated in lifeboats picked up by nearby ships. Among the survivors was Admiral Thexnor. His flagship had been docked at the station during the attack. He survived by pure luck, being in a section that stayed intact. But as he floated in his escape pod, waiting for rescue, he had time to think. Time to understand what humanity had done. They had not just destroyed a military target. They had destroyed 50,000 years of accumulated knowledge. Every tactical manual, every historical record, every strategic plan. The Council's entire military memory, gone in one explosion. When the rescue ship finally picked him up, Thexnor's first words were simple. We have lost. The captain of the rescue ship stared at him. Admiral, we have already lost this war. We just have not admitted it yet. The Kresh were the next to break away, then the Benthari, then the Threen, making their decision official. Within 2 weeks, 4 of the 7 Council species had sued for separate peace with humanity. Each one hoped for mercy. Each one offered information about the Valorians in exchange for survival. Chen rejected every offer. The Council must dissolve completely, he repeated. All 7 species must accept responsibility. No separate peace, no deals, total surrender or total war. Because Chen understood something the Council species did not. If humanity allowed separate peace, the Council would survive. Diminished but alive, and in 100 years or 1,000 they might try again. No, this had to end completely. The Council had to be destroyed so thoroughly that no one would ever think to rebuild it. The Valorians and their 2 remaining allies, the Morenth and the Krell, refused all terms. They mobilized every ship they had left. 2,000 vessels, the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history. Their target was simple. Earth. If the humans would not negotiate, then the Valorians would destroy humanity's homeworld. They would make the pain so great that the humans would have no choice but to surrender. High Speaker Valorian addressed his species in a final broadcast. Our ancestors built the Council 50,000 years ago. They brought peace to a galaxy torn by war. They created a civilization that has endured longer than most species exist. Now that civilization is threatened by a young, violent race that does not understand what they are destroying, we have one choice left. We must show them that the Council cannot be defeated, that civilization will prevail over barbarism. We march to Earth, we end this war, and we save the galaxy from humanity's madness. The speech was broadcast across Council space. It was meant to rally support, instead it revealed the truth. The Valorians were not fighting to teach humanity a lesson anymore. They were fighting for survival, fighting to prove that they still mattered. The fleet began its journey to Sol system. It would take 3 weeks to arrive. Humanity had 3 weeks to prepare for the largest battle in history. General Wei stood in the Mars Command Center, watching the Council fleet approach. 2,000 ships against humanity's remaining 400. They outgun us 5-1, Colonel Park said. Yes, we cannot win a direct engagement. No, but we do not need to. Wei pulled up a tactical display. It showed Sol system, Earth, Mars, the Belt colonies, and something else. Something the Council did not know about. What is that? Park asked, looking at the strange signals. The dead fleet, Wei said. We have been building it for the past 2 months. 800 ships with no crew. Just weapons and engines and simple computer brains. They are programmed with one command: destroy any Council ship in Sol system. AI warships? That violates Council law. We are past Council law now. Wei zoomed in on another display. It showed Earth's moon, Luna. The surface was covered in new construction. Thousands of missile silos, point defense batteries, mass drivers, energy weapons. We have turned Luna into a fortress. Every weapon we could build. Every defense we could imagine. The Council thinks they are attacking Earth. They are actually flying into the most heavily defended system in the galaxy. Park stared at the displays. This will be a slaughter. Yes, on both sides. How many do you think will survive? Wei was quiet for a moment. On our side? Maybe 50 ships. Maybe none. On theirs? Enough to wish they had never come. Park nodded slowly. And if we lose? If they destroy Earth? Then we already have the Nightfall protocol in place. What is that? Wei pulled up a final display. It showed quantum-entangled devices, spread across 40 Council homeworlds. Each device was connected to a single trigger on Earth. If Earth falls, if our government is destroyed, these devices activate automatically. Each one is a fusion bomb buried deep underground on a Council homeworld. They will all detonate simultaneously. 40 worlds, trillions of people, gone in an instant. Park's face went pale. That is genocide. Yes. We would be monsters. We would be dead. The Nightfall protocol is a guarantee. If they destroy us, they die too. Mutually assured destruction. The same principle that prevented nuclear war on Earth for 100 years. Does the Council know about this? We are about to tell them. Ambassador Chen's final message to the Council was broadcast on every frequency. Every ship in the galaxy heard it. Every world. Every station. His face was calm, but his words were ice. To the Valorian fleet approaching Sol system, I am giving you this one warning. Turn back now. Accept our terms. Dissolve the Council and acknowledge your crimes, or continue to Earth and face the consequences. You think you are coming to destroy us? You are wrong. You are flying into a trap. We have turned Sol system into a killing ground. But even if you win, even if you destroy Earth and every human ship, you will still lose. Because we have the Nightfall protocol, fusion devices on 40 Council homeworlds. They are quantum entangled to a dead man's switch on Earth. If our government falls, they detonate automatically. Everyone dies. All of us, all of you. Billions of years of evolution gone. Is that what you want? Is your pride worth the extinction of every species involved? Turn back, accept peace. Choose life. This is your last chance, the message ended. Chen sat back in his chair, exhausted. Will they turn back? An aide asked. No, Chen said quietly. They cannot. They have committed too much. Sacrificed too much. They would rather die than admit they were wrong. So this is the end. For many of us. Yes. Aboard the flagship of the Valorian fleet, High Speaker Valorian watched Chen's message. His crystalline body flickered with complex light patterns. Anger, fear, determination, despair. Is he bluffing? The fleet commander asked. I do not know, Valorian admitted. But I do not think so. Humans do not bluff. They make promises and keep them. Then we should turn back. We cannot. If we turn back now, the Council falls anyway. We lose either way. At least this way we face our enemy with courage, even if it means billions die. Valorian's light patterns shifted to resigned acceptance. The humans brought this fate upon themselves. They refused peace. They chose war. Now war will give its final answer. The fleet continued toward Earth. Behind them, 4 Council species watched in horror. They had made their separate. The Valorian fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Sol system. 2,000 ships arrayed in perfect formation. The largest armada ever assembled. They expected to find Earth's defenses concentrated around the homeworld. They expected a desperate, disorganized resistance. What they found was a nightmare. The dead fleet activated first. 800 ships, emerging from hiding spots throughout the system. Behind asteroids, in the shadow of planets scattered across the void. They had been waiting in silent mode, powered down, invisible to sensors. Now they came to life. No hesitation. No communication. Just immediate, relentless attack. The AI brains were simple but effective. Find target. Close distance. Fire all weapons. If weapons fail, ram. The Valorian formation broke apart as hundreds of human ships swarmed them from every angle. Point defense systems tried to track them all and failed. There were too many. They came too fast. This is impossible, the Valorian fleet commander shouted. They cannot have built this many ships. But the humans had not built them normally. They had stripped everything unnecessary. No life support, no crew quarters, no redundant systems, just engines, weapons, and basic guidance computers. They had built them in 3 months using every factory, every shipyard, every construction facility in human space. The dead fleet was a swarm of suicide weapons, and they were tearing through the Council forces like a knife through paper. Admiral Thexnor, commanding a secondary battle group, watched in horror as the battle unfolded. 20 Valorian ships destroyed in the first 10 minutes, 40 in the first hour, and the humans were just getting started. Launch the living fleet, General Wei ordered from Mars. Humanity's 400 remaining crewed warships entered the battle. These were different from the dead fleet. These ships had crews who could think, adapt, and improvise. They used tactics the AI could not. They coordinated attacks. They set traps. And they still used the tactic that had won at Tau Ceti. When a ship was too damaged to fight, it turned into a weapon. The battle raged across Sol system for 2 days. It was not a battle. It was slaughter. The Valorian fleet was designed for traditional warfare, ship-to-ship combat at medium range, careful targeting, minimal collateral damage. The human fleet was designed for one thing: killing as many enemies as possible before dying. Luna's defenses opened up as Valorian ships tried to approach Earth. Thousands of missiles launched simultaneously. Mass drivers hurled chunks of metal at relativistic speeds. Energy weapons powerful enough to crack asteroids focused on Council battleships. The moon itself had become a weapon, and it was bleeding the Council fleet. High-speaker Valorian stood on the bridge of his flagship watching his fleet die. 2,000 ships had entered Sol system. After 2 days of fighting, fewer than 900 remained combat-capable, and Earth was still untouched. "We need to withdraw," his second-in-command said. "No, we push forward. We reach Earth. We end this." "My speaker, we have lost over half our fleet. The humans still have hundreds of ships operational. We cannot win. Then we die here. We cannot go back defeated." The second-in-command looked at Valorian for a long moment. Then he drew a weapon. "A ceremonial energy blade meant for ritual only. I am removing you from command. For the survival of our species." Valorian's crystalline body flashed with rage and then resignation. "You are staging a coup? I am saving our people. Someone has to." The second-in-command, now acting commander, opened a channel to all remaining Valorian ships. "This is acting commander Valorian ascending. I am issuing immediate fleet-wide orders. All ships, cease fire. All ships, withdraw to safe distance. Prepare to receive human diplomatic communication." Across the battered fleet, exhausted crews hesitated. Then, one by one, ships began to pull back. The battle stopped as suddenly as it had started. The human fleet held position, weapons still hot, waiting to see if this was a trick. It was not. Ambassador Chen received the communication an hour later. Acting Commander Valorian ascending appeared on the screen. His crystalline body was cracked and dulled with exhaustion. "Ambassador Chen, on behalf of the Valorian people, I request immediate ceasefire negotiations." Chen felt something break inside him. Relief, horror, exhaustion. He had been preparing for this moment for months. Part of him had hoped it would never come. Another part had prayed for it desperately. "What are your terms?" Chen asked. "We accept yours. All of them. The Council will dissolve. We will acknowledge our crimes. We will submit to war crime tribunals. We will pay reparations. We will do whatever you demand. Just please stop the killing." Chen closed his eyes. When he opened them, they were wet. "The ceasefire is accepted. All human ships cease fire. Repeat, ceasefire. The war is over." Across Sol system, human crews received the order. Some cheered. More simply collapsed from exhaustion. Many wept. The Battle of Earth had cost humanity 370 ships. 23 million people lived on Luna. The bombardment had killed 2 million of them, but they had survived. Earth was intact, and the Council had surrendered. The war was over. The trials took 2 years. They were held on a neutral station, with judges from species that had not participated in the war. Human, Valorian, Threen, Benthari, and others all testified. High Speaker Valorian, the original one who had ordered the attack, refused to participate. He remained silent throughout his trial. When asked if he had anything to say in his defense, he simply repeated the same words. I did what I believed was right for galactic civilization. He was convicted of crimes against sapient life. He was sentenced to life imprisonment on a human prison colony. He died 3 years later, his crystalline body slowly dimming until it went dark forever. Admiral Thexnor testified fully. He provided records, communications, tactical analyses. He admitted his role but also explained the context. The belief that this was a limited action, the certainty that humans would surrender, the complete failure to understand human psychology. We thought we were teachers, he said during his testimony. We thought we were correcting a problem child. We did not understand that we were threatening a species that had clawed its way up from a harsh world. Through 10,000 years of constant warfare, we judged you by our standards. That was our greatest mistake. Thexnor was convicted but received a reduced sentence. He spent 5 years in custody and then was released. He spent the rest of his life writing about the war, trying to help others understand how it happened and how to prevent it from ever happening again. Ambassador Chen testified about the diplomatic failures, the warnings that were ignored, the attempts to find peaceful solutions, the moment when he realized war was inevitable. I still wonder, he said quietly, if I could have done more, if I could have found the right words to make them understand. But I also know that sometimes words are not enough. Sometimes people only learn through pain. I wish it had not been necessary. I wish 50 million people on both sides were still alive. But I cannot change what happened. I can only try to build something better from the ashes. The trials concluded with a joint declaration. All 7 council species officially acknowledged that the war was unjust, that humanity had the right to defend itself, that the attack on Proxima Centauri was a crime against galactic civilization. Reparations were paid, territories were redistributed, and most importantly, the council was dissolved. In its place, the new Galactic Assembly was formed. Every species had equal representation. Decisions required consensus, not majority vote, and there was a new law carved into the foundation of the Assembly itself. No species shall attack another without provocation. No species shall claim authority over another. No species shall use military force except in self-defense, and no species shall ever again believe that their civilization gives them the right to subjugate others. 50 years after the war ended, Ambassador David Chen stood in a park on New Valoria. The Valorian homeworld had recovered from the relativistic strike. The crater remained, turned into a memorial, a place where people came to remember the cost of arrogance. Chen was old now, nearly 90 years old. He walked with a cane, but he still came to the memorial every year on the anniversary of the strike. A Valorian child approached him. Her crystalline body was bright with youth and curiosity. Are you Ambassador Chen? She asked in perfect human English. I am. My teacher says you helped end the war. Chen smiled sadly. Many people helped end the war. I was just one of them. My grandfather died in the war, on the flagship at Earth. I am sorry for your loss. The child looked up at him with innocent eyes. Was the war necessary? Could it have been prevented? Chen had been asked this question 1,000 times. He still did not have a perfect answer. I do not know, he said honestly. I tried to prevent it. Many people tried. But sometimes people do not listen until it is too late. Your leaders thought they were strong enough to force us to obey. We thought we were tough enough to resist. Both sides were right. Both sides were wrong. And millions died because we could not find a better way. My teacher says we should never forget what happened. Your teacher is right. We should never forget. But we also should not let the past trap us. We should learn from it and build something better. The child nodded seriously. Then she did something.